Here. So greetings all that are here today. Thank you for joining us, taking time on your busy Sunday morning or Sunday evening, wherever you are, depending on that, and being with us. Today is the last club powwow, at least for this year. And I want to say a little bit more about that. But let us first begin by checking in with our moods. And Victoria, you want to go ahead and throw the slide deck up on the screen, please?
Yeah. Do you want me to start with the mood or agenda?
Yeah, go ahead and start with the first slide and go from there.
Okay, great. Let's share. Okay. Last club powwow.
At least for the year.
Yeah, for the year. Agenda is mood check-in. We're going to talk about the Club of Alchemists program and then the Power Course program. And then we're going to do some exercises, a listening exercise, a mystery exercise, a request exercise, and then complete. We don't have a lot of people, so I have a feeling this is going to be a short but sweet meeting. So yeah,
may not be short, maybe more comprehensive. Maybe. Let us dive in and see where we go. So let's begin with the mood check-in. Thank you, Victoria, for the slide. Why don't you start, Victoria? What kind of mood you find yourself in this morning?
I have a mood of possibility, and I want to encourage I want to invite a mood of curiosity for me. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Wakar, greetings and welcome. Mood check-in.
Hello, everyone. I have a mood of ambition and anticipation.
Ambition and anticipation. And that is reflective in that gorgeous smile of yours that you got going on. Very good. Thank you, Wakar. Usman?
So I had a mood of ambition and passion, but now after hearing that this is the last session of powwow, I am have a mood of confusion.
Oh, good. Thank you for being in that mood. We're not gonna leave you hanging with that mood. We have had some amazing realizations that we'll go into in a second. So, okay, good. Thank you. Very nice. Rachel, are you in a space where you can do a quick mood check-in with us?
I can check in. My mood would be acceptance and serenity.
Acceptance and serenity. Very important mood as a foundation for living a good life in a time, especially that is upon us right now. Thank you, Rachel. And okay. I'm just getting some messages from participants that are delayed, behind, or can't join. So, okay. Yash, please, your mood.
I have a mood of possibility.
Possibility. You have more like a question mark at the end of that mood.
Yeah, possibility and confidence.
Possibility and confidence. Okay. All right. Thank you, Yash. Myself this morning, I'm in the mood of a new beginner and radical hope. Some events happening in the lives of some very close people to me that have perturbed me, and there is some rage, some radical hope, and perplexed about what's going on, which brings a mood of a new beginner. So that's where I am. Where did Vakar go? Oh, Vakar is here. Got it. All right. Well, very nice. Let me say a little bit about what's going on. Vakar, are you with us? There are so few people, brother.
Yes,
It'd be very nice if we see you and if you're with us.
Just a second. I am arranging something.
Okay, all right, very good. So we have an announcement to make. Our commitment has been to create programs for unfolding your full potential, for unfolding a new version of yourself, which is what led me to create this work. And I am just realizing now, we are realizing now, that the programs of habit building cannot be separate from the programs of self-transformation. We have the Power Course, which is a serious program, an innovation of its own kind in the world of inventing a new version of yourself. And that's actually going very well. We are in the month 5 of that program, and the results that are showing up in the lives of people are remarkable. I had expected, and in a certain sense, I had not expected. I had no idea what's going to happen. And at the same time, these habit building program, what was going on, that in my own life and the life of our team members and other loved ones, there were several struggles showing up with regards to building habits in life that lead to a powerful life, that lead to success. So we said, why don't we take all the habit building activities we are doing and put it into a program and make it lower cost and launch that. Now, what has happened that I'm noticing that some of the people that would really benefit from building a transformative capacity of unfolding a new version of themselves, they are not quite getting the benefit from the programs that I would like them to get. The habit building programs are great. And that's really, in a manner of speaking, that's our lifestyle. We have taken our lifestyle, my lifestyle, and the lifestyle of those that are connected to me. And that's very good that some of them are joining the lifestyle, joining the habits, MFT practice, Shaolin practice, and some other practices. But the result that I want to see in people, that's not showing up. So that's making me realize that these two programs, they're not separate programs. They are one and the same, the program of self-transformation and the program of building habits for success. They really are one and the same program. So we are integrating our offers. Consequently, we are stopping the memberships, taking new members into the Club of Alchemists. We will also be changing the name of the Club of Alchemists. We are actually learning that some people have negative reaction to the word alchemy, and it makes sense, as alchemists of 500 years ago are the change makers of today. Really, what we intend to point at is the phenomena of taking responsibility for bringing change in your environment. So we're going to be changing the name to the Changemakers Club. And it just goes better with the Power Course and so on and so forth. So, however, you're welcome to continue participating in the practices as our special guests. We're not stopping the practices. These are the practices that have been going on. So we're inviting you to continue to attend the practices, just that after today, you won't be charged again. If you have been paying for the Club of Alchemists, we thank you for trusting us, joining the program. We are going to complete all the subscriptions today. And after today, after you finish out your month, whenever that is, you will not pay it again. But we're going to continue the practices of Startup Forum every week on Tuesdays, talking about startups and business models. We're going to continue the practice of philosophy study every Sunday, 9 a.m. We are studying the book, The Seventh Sense by Joshua Cooper Ramo, and we are planning some amazing texts in there. Those are the things that I want to study, and I've studied before. I want to study again, or I want my team to study. So that practice is going to continue. Of course, the practice of MFT, which is almost 2 years now that we have done 2 times a day, 7 a.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Pacific time. That's going to continue. And recently we have started a new practice of Shaolin Kung Fu training, lighter version. You sweat a little bit, it's not too intense. every day, Monday through Friday, from 7:30 a.m. Pacific to 8 a.m. Pacific, right after the MFT. So those practices will continue. We are not going to launch the practice of Metaform, which I thought would be, I ran a little pilot. I had 3 people in the Metaform practice, which was the shrunk version of the Power Course. And we gave it to people themselves to watch the videos, and it didn't really work out. We actually selected 7, 8 most powerful lectures out of the Power Course. And we said, hey, if people watch these lectures, that would be amazing. So I tested with the 2 people that I put in that program, and I asked them, so what happened after you watched the lectures? Like, nothing happened. It was nice. Well, what do you mean it was nice? It should be life-changing. Yeah, I don't know. It's good information. So I realized that the transformation is not in the knowledge. It's not some kind of a knowledge, special purpose knowledge that I give it to you where the transformation happened. The transformation happens in certain kind of conversation with myself, with my team, and the exercises and accountability and so on and so forth. So the Metaform program is not going to work out. And then it turns out, notice today, most times the people that are in the club powwow are the members of the Power Course. And those members, they meet with me every Saturday for 2 hours. They are experiencing a little bit fatigue. They're going like, Sagib, I already met with you on Saturday. Why do I meet with you again on Sunday? So now when we have the next tribe of the Power Course starting up, and we'll talk a little bit about that, then it would make sense that we bring all the tribes of the Power Course into a single meeting once a month, and we will restart the club powwow again. That was the intention, that people get to know each other. But right now, what's going on, that there are members in the club such as Usman and Rachel and AZ and Zaki and a couple of other people, and your sister Bakar's Zahra and few other people that are not part of the Power Course, and they come join the club powwow. They don't have the linguistic distinctions that we are working with. Human being is a house of language, right? So let me put you guys in the middle here. So human being is a house of language. The deep transformative work we are doing is done in language, where we shift the linguistic structure of your existence. And a lot of financial power, a lot of social power, a lot of personal power show up as a result of shifting the linguistic distinctions of your structure. This kind of work is going on in the Power Course right now. So, and also Haris here. Haris, welcome. We just went through an important announcement. Essentially what we're doing is today is we are stopping the Club of Alchemists, and but the practices will continue. And I just made the announcement that you're welcome to join the practices as our special guests. It's just that after today, or after the payment that you've already made, you will not be charged again for the club dues. The club, the practices for, just a very, very quick summary for you. The practices of the habits for success, and the practices for transformation of yourself and inventing a new version of yourself, the two are connected. They're not separate from each other. So what we are doing is, and I don't consider myself a global expert on building new habits or creating habits for success. That is not the focus of my doctoral research. That is not the focus of my work. I have these practices because I would like them for myself, and I would like others to practice with me. I struggle with discipline and schedule myself quite a bit. So I have created these practices first for myself, then for my family, then for my loved ones. So going forward, you are most welcome. The people that have already gotten into club, it's just that after today, once you have finished the month for which you have paid, You will not be charged again for the club dues. We are stopping the club public membership. So the 5 or 6 of you that joined the club are most welcome to continue the practices with us at no cost to you. The practices that we're going to continue are mind focus technique, Shaolin Fit, the philosophy study, and the startup forum. Those practices are important to us. We will not be launching Metaform, which was intended to be the short version of the Power Course. I ran a pilot with a couple of people. It didn't make sense. The transformative engagement is a rigorous engagement, and that requires all kinds of programming that we have created in the Power Course. We will stop the club powwow for now, but as soon as the next tribe of the Power Course gets underway, then we'll restart the powwow, as I would like all the tribes of the Power Course that are going through transformation to meet together. We thought about making the Power Course a rolling engagement, that rolling enrollment, that anytime people could enroll into the Power Course. But the challenge is the intimacy. The current tribe have built very tight bond, and they're all supporting each other. It's like a new family that have come together, that are deep in each other's lives and everything. That intimacy that we create allows us to be vulnerable with each other and allow us to dig deeper into those dark corners that we don't want to look at. So what we're going to do, most likely, so let me say a little bit about the Power Course. Let me look at my notes. Okay, so what we are going to do. Yeah, please.
So may I know the reason behind this decision? I mean,
yes, Professor, you're a little bit late to the class, so we did
okay.
Let me say something.
Okay.
Sure. So what am I up to with my career, Haris, that I saw the potential of so many startup leaders, people that want to change their life. They don't have to be in startups, people in corporates, people in government. I saw the potentials, and I had the good fortune of mentoring, coaching probably over 1,000 people in the last 10 years, probably at least, and maybe more. Again and again, I noticed that there is certain kind of orientation. You can say orientation of yourself, how you view the world, what linguistic structures you navigate in. So I began to say, maybe I can create a program that helps people invent a new version of themselves. So I created the Power Course. The first session of the Power Course, the first tribe of the Power Course, has been running for now 5 months, right? And I am seeing amazing results and changes in the lives of those people. The tribe has been, this program, the Club of Alchemists has been running as practices for a few months. And I have definitely seen that some people have gotten the habits of thinking. Usman, for example, really likes this showing up to the startup forum. And it's developing a habit in Usman to think about business models and so on and so forth. Some people are showing up in the philosophy course, and it's showing the habits of thinking philosophically about life and what's going on in our world. So it's having an impact, but not the kind of impact that I would like to see on people. It's clear to me, the 2 guys that joined me, that are my close friends, that joined at full cost of the program, or several more people, but the 2 particular guys, AZ and Zaki, that I wanted to help them unfold a new version of themselves. It's clear to me that they really should join the Power Course. When I also think about you, Haris, and when I think about Rachel and think about Usman, it makes sense to me that you guys really, to unfold a new version of yourself, to tap into your deep powers, whether it's a financial power, whether it's a social power, personal power, self-esteem, dignity, whatever that your challenge you're up against, for me to be able to do proper job, you must join the Power Course. So in the way of invitation to the Power Course that we will be launching, and we are thinking about launching, is it declaration? Are we ready to declare? Sure, we're ready to declare that we would launch the new version of the new tribe of the Power Course. It will also be an improvement upon the current version we're running. We are learning a lot, so we're going to be making some changes, improving the quality in the beginning of January. So if you are thinking about taking the Power Course, join me. And at the same time, we're not really stopping anything. You all are most welcome as our special guests. The practices are going to continue. So you can join, except that you won't pay for it. So after you finish out your month, there won't be another charge. We will stop your subscriptions and the practices will continue. And we will bring more practices, actually. I am thinking about bringing the practice of tech dive, where we dive into the deep technological emergences and marginal trends that are happening, marginal meaning that are not in the mainstream yet, that are happening at the fringes. I would like to explore some of those trends. That's where some of the future billion-dollar ideas are hiding. We're going to continue the startup forum. We're going to continue the philosophy study. And of course, MFD and Shaolin Fit, they both are going to continue. And you all are welcome.
Little thought on this. I remember in previous section, Kathy once said, you were saying something similar to me, or maybe Zaki, that you guys should join Power Course. And there was a debate, and it was last week, I remember. And Kathy said, okay, that Sakib, it's your perception. It may not be true, it may be true. So let it put me on my side. I have been thinking of joining Power Course. I'm just taking a few seconds more.
Yeah.
Not taking
No, take your time.
Okay.
So, Haris, don't be in a hurry. We have time.
Okay.
We have time.
I thought I was interrupting.
No.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm thinking of two options, option A and B, and I'm not sure about that. Is it that I really don't know I really don't want the Power Course, or B, I'm not aware that I don't want a Power Course, and I'm in the middle. You say that I need it, but I am absolutely at the 50-50 level. I may not need it, or I am not aware that I don't need it. I want to discern this thing.
Right.
And there where I need your help, maybe later.
Sure.
I put my concern.
No, let me say something. You asked a good question. First of all, you don't need it. I don't think that any one of you need the Power Course. And if I said it, it was a slip of a tongue. You don't need the Power Course. You're doing great, all three of you that are here, Usman, Rahel, Haris, and Zaki and Az and others that are in this club with us in this conversation. Don't need it. Each one of you is already having a remarkable life and a remarkable career. You already have become something. You have accomplished something. You've arrived somewhere. So you don't need it. It's not like something is wrong with you, but to go beyond where you have arrived, to unfold a new version of yourself, to realize what I see possible for you and what sometimes you see possible for you, you must be in a serious conversation with me.
Yes.
Whatever name we're going to call it. I've called it the Power Course, but I am taking a certain kind of responsibility, making a certain kind of offer that in serious conversation with me, I will help you unfold a new self, a new way of being that will help you accumulate power beyond what you see possible now. But I see possible. Each one of you that I have let in the club, there were other people. I said, no, sorry, you're not the right person. I can't work with you. You're too trapped, or you're too busy, or this cannot happen. So in the last year or so, I have come across the amazing people, and I've personally invited and said, come join with me. I thought the mistake I made a mistake actually. Okay. The mistake I made, and I do remember what Kathy said, that you should have 3 tiers of programs. You should have a cheapest version and a middle version and a higher version. And it's good marketing thinking. Kathy's not wrong. The thinking is very good. The mistake I made is that I separated the program of habit building from the program of transformative studies. They go together. They are one and the same. So the club practices, the club will continue. We are announcing the name change as well. It will be called the Changemakers Club. The club will continue. The practices will continue. Anyone who takes any programs with me, right now it's going to be one program, the Power Course. In the future, we could perceive maybe having other programs. And the lesson I learned is any program, it must first start with transformative conversation. If the program does not start with a transformative conversation, then you are missing the language structure that will constitute your new self. So in that sense, I am not seeing the kind of transformation after 2 months, 3 months in the club members that I am seeing in the Power Course participants. Within 2 months, 3 months, we saw amazing results. In this 5 months now, people's incomes have, in some cases, doubled. In some cases, 60% increase. In some cases, some people were right at the edge of divorce or marital blow up or something. People were right at, there have been transformative results showing up in the lives of people. So we're having a very powerful program. These two guys, Vakar and Yash, you can almost not recognize them. If you go back and watch the videos of these two guys, look at with the care and intensity that they're listening. This wasn't available before. So we can clearly see that people that are in the Power Course are unfolding something that is quite remarkable. So maybe there should be a low-cost program in the future. I don't have enough just bandwidth or time right now to think about that. Maybe there could be a low-cost version where we do transformative conversation. It will have to be a larger group, much larger group, to make the low cost make sense, economics and payments and salaries and all the economic make sense. So I don't know, maybe it will be possible. But for now, we are creating something in the Power Course that I believe we are unique in the world. I believe nowhere else in the world, not even those that where I went to study, because those programs are very good. Fernando Flores, Chauncey Bell, Werner Erhard. You go study with either of these guys, I am very pleased. Or there might be others, but the three, the leaders I found in the world and I went to study with them, their programs are very good. But the Power Course includes so many dimensions that are not included in their programs. And I won't go into the comparisons right now. So it's one of a kind of a program in the world. And I have only invented the first 5 parts. We call them superpowers, the first 5 superpowers. So there's a great deal of work still pending on my behalf to finish the rest. So time constraint is one. The second, practices, I don't want to charge for that actually. It's just that I think the practices should be available because I am, the practices are not distinct offers. You can go study philosophy so many other places. Go to meetup.com and there's so many philosophy groups. You can go exercise somewhere. You can go do meditation somewhere. We are not unique in those practices. So, but those practices are essential part to support the change makers with startup discussions. There might be something unique about the startup forum, but not so unique. I cannot claim that we are one in the world that are doing that. We are not. There's quite a bit actually available. But with the Power Course, I am claiming that we are one in the world that are doing that. And this is gonna expand and I believe blow up to a massive level. Rachel has been encouraging me to think about curriculum for the students. So we are working on that, not now, but once we are finished with all the powers in the course development of all the modules, then we're going to make a curriculum that could be made available to schools, colleges. I plan to have it translated as a next step in Urdu and Hindi go to the places where I've come from. So we got like a lot of work in front of us. The practices, they're free. Once you're in for a lifetime, there should be no charge for it because it's a community of practitioners. I'm not a Kung Fu master. Half the time when I'm doing Kung Fu, I am together huffing and puffing on the ground. I am not a meditation master. You know, I don't have, now I have with meditation, I have done enough. Maybe I've done 4,000 or 5,000 hours of practice. So I can lead sessions and maybe I can make it a profession, but that's not my intended career path to become a meditation teacher. I really am a computer science engineer. I'm an AI researcher who accidentally got super interested in human design. And I began to see the combination of machine and human. So in that sense, I am working on some technologies and some first thing that I'm concerning myself now is to complete the articulation of the human design, what that would be. So that's what I think that you should join me. You should join me in the next year when we launch. And in the meantime, be my guests, come to the practices. I also don't want to, you know, Maria has been, if this club has happened, part of the credit goes to Maria, who has held a big stick and made sure that everybody joins the practice. Today, it's a sparse attendance because I asked Maria, don't chase people with the stick this time for the powwow.
And she
Just let
didn't
them
show up herself today.
Huh?
And she didn't show up herself today.
She is, yeah, she had some family engagement. She called and she said that she has some engagement going on. So, yeah, I don't want her job to be here at Rasool Ventures to be about getting people into practice. No, we don't want to do that. This is my conversations are not for those that are in kindergarten of their development. My discourses is for senior people only. This discourse is for people that are willing to take responsibility for themselves. So you are going to be a special batch of people that are not in the power course, but no problem. You have become like my family. And we have already said that any one of our participants can invite any family members to all the practices. So here, you're all invited, the ones that are in this conversation and the ones that are going to be watching this video, you're all invited as my family, as my friends, to join all the practices at no cost to you, lifetime or for as long as I will keep doing. And hopefully when I am not keep doing, one of you or several of you will pick up and that will keep doing. We're initiating a new tradition that we hope to continue. The only decision we are making that this is not a public club. We don't want to be in the business of club management and club memberships and getting people into practices. Not now, at least. Maybe in the future, someone else can get excited about this. That is not me. Someone else say, you know, that was a great idea. I want to sell a habit building program. Okay, you can collaborate with us and you can take leadership about that. But we have limited staff that is working round the clock as it is. I'm working round the clock as it is. So a choice point came for me where I had to make a decision on where to focus. So I'm going to be focusing on the power course and we're going to keep the practices going. They're good for us. They are good for our family members and our loved ones. So, okay, that's good. Any questions, comments, perturbations? Is this satisfying? Does that make sense? Any upsets?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think it's better when I turn off my camera for connection purpose.
Okay.
Well, I'm sad, but that is because for the desire to be part of something, something different that always challenged me to be transformed to the level that I have with my investment. So I totally clearly understand.
Rachel, you're breaking up.
Going with this and something we still.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. Is it good now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah. So all of us, when we do something in our life, we have a reason, and you believed in our life that we can be transformed to something bigger than that we can see ourselves. And I can speak about myself. I have not put a commitment, the level of commitment to be what I need to be, and this is not the right time, and that's why I didn't participate in the power course. And the level that I did the last years with the power sister, whatever name that we had, I have seen myself being transformed. So I do appreciate your invitation that I can still be part of something. And earlier I said my mood is acceptance. I had to do similar in my life that I cannot commit to everything. I had to make a decision, where do I want to invest? So I think your investment is in the right place. And I hope to join when the time is right and to be fully transformed. I wish we could still continue the club, but I do understand you need to invest where your heart is. And I still would like to work with the youth and all that. So that's all I want to say.
So Rahel, I'm a little confused though. I'm confused. What are you sad about? Are you sad that you won't be paying me the monthly fee? Because everything else is still there.
That's exactly true, because I feel like I'm taking advantage. I'm not contributing. So, but that's it. That is just in my mind. But I am like, again, this is just in my head. But again, I'm grateful that you're still leaving the opportunity for us to participate until we decide to go to the.
Right. No, look, I invite you not to be sad. You're not getting out of anything. The club is going to continue. We're going to change the name. It's going to be called the Changemakers Club. And all of you are going to continue to be members of the Changemakers Club. As a matter of fact, all of you, for trusting me and joining us, are now have lifetime memberships to this club. It's just that we're closing it to newcomers. So if you want to be sad for some people that are not here because they won't be able to join till they take one of the courses with me. Now, of course, the exception is fully available. And what I'm going to do is to invite, there are something like about 15 people, 10, 15, maybe 20 people that took the beta version of the power course. And you have taken the power course, but you took the beta version, the first version that we had come up with before the current power course started. So we're going to invite anyone that have done any programs with me. I'm going to go back and invite them to join the Changemakers Club. So we are going to see the club membership growing. And if it turns out that we really should, the only thing we are stopping, at least for the next 3 months, 4 months, 3 months, maybe till the end of this year, October, November, December, is the powwow. Every 4th weekend when we have to do powwow, we have to skip the philosophy class. We cannot find the time to do powwow during the week. So we are a little bit overloaded with programming. So what I invite you to do, Rahel, is to pick one club practice and commit to it and never, ever miss it. Just any practice. All of you, I invite all of you to pick one practice, pick philosophy study, pick startup forum, pick MFT, pick Shaolin, one club. And we're going to be initiating new practices. I'm thinking about starting Tech Dive soon. And so pick one practice and connect. And then we'll bring back the networking meeting. Maybe we call it networking meeting or powwow. We will bring it back as soon as we have the new Power Course tribe starting. And the next Power Course tribe, also, I'm going to warn you in advance, the next tribe may be the last tribe. Maybe I will not do more than 2 tribes. I want to take what I have developed and go towards AI. That's where my own mind and heart goes. I want to go towards an app and AI and so on and so forth. But it's clear to me that we need to do one more tribe of the power course. So don't miss in January. Organize your world, organize yourself. So in January, you come make time, make 3 hours to 5 hours a week, which is what we're going to be asking people to make the time, and come join. And if it doesn't make sense that you join the power course, it's no problem. It's not like your potential is limited. It's a certain kind of unfolding of a new self that we're going to be doing. You're not less than if you don't join. Okay. So now, if you really, really feel sad for not paying me, then I invite you to set up a dinner appointment with me and pay for my dinner. Okay. Since you're in Seattle area, buy me a meal. Okay, and every month, once a month, buy me a meal, and I'll be satisfied. So, okay, very good. Anything else? Any other comments? Anybody else is sad about not paying me going forward? Please let me know, and we'll send you extra bill because we don't want you sad. That would make me very sad that you're sad that you can't pay me. That we can fix that. We can fix that. All I have to do is tell Maria to chase you down for your credit card number, and we can fix that in a heartbeat. So, all right, why don't let's take now we also have prepared a delicious conversation for you today in a way of introduction to the power course. We are going to introduce you 3 exercises from 3 powers from within the power course. One exercise is highly experimental. Actually, I think all 3 exercises are highly experimental. So even if you're in the power course, you have not done these before. So why don't we take, let's take maybe 5 minutes. Let's break for 5 minutes. When we come back, then we go to exercise number 1, number 2, and we'll see how much time we have. Maybe we start number 1 and we all run into a big fight, and then we stay with that fight till the end of the meeting. So, okay, 5 minutes break, and then we're back together. Thank you.
Past to find Alex Hunt.
This I pledge you on my honor as a Roman.
Oh, that's what he's got! A
Sounds good.
Sakib, we can't hear you. You are muted.
Thank you. You were listening to the music by the group called The Who. It's a call for resurrection of greatness among the Mongols. You know that at one time, the Mongols, they pretty much ruled half the earth. Some people say as much as every sixth person in the world in some way is a descendant of Genghis Khan. And now they have, of course, shrunk back into small country and so many of the past empires. So the music is about the resurrection of greatness and giving up about the habits. You notice the guys, he's eating popcorn and watching TV all day. And he's reminding some kind of a ghost of Genghis Khan comes into him and remind him about his past greatness. And I think the same could be said for almost any nation and any people. We are all children of great people. The children of not so great people did not survive. They don't live on earth today. We wiped them out. Every single person that is alive on earth today is in one way or another are the descendants of those that won out. Homo sapiens, first of all, wiped out 18 other kinds of homos from this earth. Homo rudolphus, Homo neanderthalis, Homo erectus, so many other types of human, pre-human species that made art, that had language, that organized themselves, have been wiped out. The only species that survived is Homo sapiens. Okay, so
Sakib, I have a question before we
Mhm.
start.
Yeah,
What
please.
about the accountability partners that we had? Will that practice be going on, or will that be demolished?
Good question. Thank you. Victoria is smiling as she said, "What are you going to say about the accountability partner?" And I said, "Shh, don't say anything. Just let it continue." So yes, the practice continues. Please continue with the accountability partners. We intend to continue with the practice. We're going to deepen the practice further. And when you are taking the power course, that practice is making more sense. But please continue. And I think that we should continue the practice going forward. We hadn't made a decision. I wanted to see if anybody notices and asks for it, and then we'll, what do you think, Victoria? That sounds good. We continue with that practice. Okay,
We
where
are
is
stopping the club fund though.
yeah, a few other programs such as the club fund, and we are not going to continue to pursue those. We're going to stop those for now. The club doesn't have its own set of separate money. Actually, thinking about the club fund just led us into so many. Where is Horace? Who is in touch with Horace? Someone is in touch with Horace?
I can send him a message on Slack.
Okay, please do. Okay, now we have
It's 11 o'clock.
Where are my glasses? Did I have them at the beginning of this call? I apologize. So unprofessional.
Let's begin the exercise.
Let's begin the first exercise. So first we have an interesting question for you. Oh, we have the polls here. Create a poll. Okay, so give us like 1 second and we are together. Moods exercise. Okay, we are going to ask you to take this poll in a second here. Would there have been a way to do this ahead of time? I'm not sure. We're learning this Zoom interface ourselves, so kindly bear patience. Hey, Victoria, why don't you read the choices to me so I can just type? I'm going back and forth, is not working out.
Sure.
First is always, second one is mostly, third is
Sometimes, and then rarely, and then never.
sometimes, rarely, and
never.
okay. So
I don't know if everyone's going to be able to see the questions, though. I wonder if Rahel will, because she's in her car. Maybe we
I
should.
think I can.
Okay, we can read them. So do you see the poll in front of you?
Yes, I can. Yes,
okay,
I can.
very good. So the question is, it's a fun thing. Okay, this exercise is not fully well developed, so don't run into fight with me. Just look at the question. The question is, people that have seen poverty are grateful for life after becoming wealthier. This is one of those maxims that we often find in society, right? There are sayings, like there's a saying that people that have seen bad times, once they're wealthier, they are so much kinder, they are so much grateful, and so on and so forth, right? It's a kind of a belief, a societal belief that exists. So we want to reveal some kind of a mood about this. So please go ahead and take the poll. I have seen. All of you have gone already?
I have.
So let me see show of hands. I cannot see the poll here. Let me see show of hands. Who said sometimes? Okay, sometimes. And who said mostly? Okay. And who said rarely? Okay. So this exercise is designed to reveal your mood, a hidden mood. Mood is something that is generally hidden. It's not obvious to us. Others can see it, but we cannot see our moods. So there is no right answer here. If you answered sometimes, you have a mood of a pragmatist. You have a mood of a realist. You see the way things are, right? You see it, yeah, could happen, may not happen, actually really has no relationship. People that have been rich and become poor could become kind or could become resentful. People that have been poor and become rich, and if they were mean people, they become super mean. Sometimes they become very kind. Sometimes people go through hard time and become very sweet and generous. Sometimes people go through hard times and they become bitter and rude and so on and so forth, right? So let's end this poll. Okay. Share results. I'm not sure how that happens. Okay, share.
Yeah, we can see like a chart of.
You can see the chart.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys see on your side. So, okay. And if you, okay, that's enough. And if you said, rarely, you're a little bit resigned and cynic. You don't believe this could happen, right? You believe people are not very good by nature and they rarely become good people, right? So it's not about the people. It's about the mood that you hold about the people. We are talking about people that don't exist. We have no relationship. We're just making it up. But we made it up to reveal to you that you have a little bit of a mood of cynicism. So take responsibility for it. Observe that mood. Observe and see what's going on. What's having me not believe in the possibility of life. You're a little bit resigned to the possibility of life. And if you said mostly or always, it's actually mostly and rarely are better answer than never and always, huh? You're not completely on that spectrum. It's a spectrum. But if you said always or mostly, thank you, Victor. If you said always or mostly, you have a little bit mood of a romantic. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but you have a little bit mood of a romantic and I, for myself, I am also a romantic. I have had to work hard on becoming a realist. If before I studied any of this, what I have studied, if you would have presented a question to me, I would say always, they always become very nice after they go through hard time. I believe. And whereas it's a very good thing to believe and believe and believe, it's good to be a realist and not get hurt by our naivete, right? That's what we are looking at. The time that is coming to us, we cannot afford to be trapped in romantic moods. Now, if you're a romantic, like my own self, there is no hope for you. This affliction will go on lifetime. If you are a little bit of a cynic, that may go lifetime, no problem. But if you become aware of it, then at the right time, you can say, you know what I'm thinking about this guy or this gal or these people, that may not have to do anything, that may have anything to do with this guy, that girl, or those people. That may have to do with my mood that I carry with me. Okay, that's it. That reveals to you predisposition to your mood. So let me hear from each of you, any reactions, comments, and what did you see in this exercise?
I would also like to say, though, before we share, that Maria also chose mostly.
Yeah, the two romantics, right?
Well, the thing is that what is the difference between romantic mood and optimistic mood? To me, it looks like that we are looking at a brighter side, that maybe mostly they are like this.
I think a better question maybe, what's the danger in there, right? Optimism believes the right kind of optimism where you believe in the work that you have put in. The practice, for example, the mind focus practice that I've taken on, I have learned it from a very special class of Buddhists. This particular class of Buddhists are called, I believe, Vijriya. It's, where's that little sheet that I had? Which means constant effort, where enlightenment is not considered to be suddenly gotten from some elusive mystic, but enlightenment is a result of hard work, constant hard work of sitting and doing some kind of a practice, right? So there is nothing wrong in being optimistic. If you're practicing something and you're putting an effort, I'm optimistic about the future of our startup. It's fledgling, it's new, it's we don't have funding from outside. We haven't looked for funding from the outside. We are self-financed. We are taking on a job that is impossible to even still feels like 5 out of 7 done, 7 more to go. What I have to go through to write those, it's a torture. It's nothing less than a torture. And yet I am optimistic about the hard work we are doing and about how we are helping people. The danger in a romantic mood is that you could get tricked by schemes and games easily. You may get taken for a ride. You may get taken for granted. You may fail to pay attention to the telltale signs in some scheme, in some people, in some game, or that were there, but you were you believed. You know, is that line? I remember there's a venture capitalist, what's his name, Bill Bryant, who is a senior partner at DFJ Partners, people that funded Google and many other firms. Bill once told me, I asked the same exact question to Bill many years ago. This is 15 or 17 years ago. And I said, what's wrong with believing Bill? Bill said to me, Saqib, you're a romantic. You're a romantic fool. He called me and said, what's wrong with it? I just believe, I believe, I believe. He goes, this is that song, you know, we don't want entrepreneurs that put hands on the ears and say, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. You know, we don't want that. We don't want, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. We don't want believe like that. We don't want blind faiths like that. What we want is alertness and openness and seeing what's going on. People are what they are. There is nothing about, no formulaic approach. I know what to say now, is to abandon the impulse to come up with formulaic approach to dealing with people. We abandon that impulse. We don't want formulaic approach. We want to, because then people hurt us. Say, I cannot believe it. I can't believe it. Oh, that guy or that girl or those people, I can't. Well, you better believe. So abandoning the formulas about people is what we are really driving at. That makes sense, Usman? I was afraid to do this exercise, as what happened when we did this exercise privately in the team. I invented it, and it had not. This is the first time it's done in a forum. I did it in the team, and Maria, when she responded, mostly, and I started to show about the romantic mood, she started to fight with me. So I was a little nervous to do it, that people may fight with me in this exercise. But the group was small enough right now, so I said, okay, it's a good opportunity. Let's go ahead and do this exercise. So, okay, comments, Yash, comments?
Well, she has to fight with someone because I'm not there. So you have to bear with her.
Very good. I don't think she's fighting with us that much. So what that means is she's reserving it. It's in the store. There's going to be a build-up. All right. Comments, Rachel, Vakar, Yash, your comments, please.
Saqib, for me, this exercise also tells us like how we see the people in terms of their mood, or like what is the way to see another person's.
Yeah. Right. Good. Comments, Victoria, what are your comments?
I'm thinking, is it better to be romantic or cynical? Like out of those two, which one should you lean towards, romantic or cynical?
I lean towards romantic myself because
No,
that's my natural.
I do as
You do
well.
too.
I was in between sometimes and always.
Yeah.
But is it like which one? I don't know. It's interesting.
I think it's a bad question. I think we have to let it go.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to let it go. If that is your natural disposition, you can't really help it. So it's not like better to be this, better to be that. There are times when a romantic has an advantage, when there are times when a cynic has some advantage. But the best is to be a realist, is to drive at being a realist, to see the way things are, not to give pre-built meanings to things. Okay, Vakar, your comments?
Yes, I just realized that I am more like a romantic person, that I see things in an idealist way, that they should be in that way, in a right way. But somewhere I am having a resentment mood, mood of resignation.
Right. Very good. Bravo. Good work. Good work. The two are connected. You are romantic, you get hurt, you get cynical. And then you get cynical, you get blocked, you see limited potential, you go back to being romantic. So our game is to stop this oscillation, stop this pendulum, to go between a romantic, get hurt, become cynic, feel pain. You say, I want to believe, I want to believe. You listen to some motivational speech or something, listen to some guru, or say, oh, you should always be positive minded. The biggest bullshit of the 20th century is this positive-minded game that so many thousands of gurus are promoting. We don't want to promote positive-mindedness. That blinds you. And then you get hurt, and then you go like, whoa, that feels super painful. I will never trust again. And then you listen to another guru speech again. It's like, oh no, I should be romantic again. So it's to pull yourself out of that, to see people for what they are. People are people. And also when people are people, when people are doing terrible things, locate that within you. We are all like that. We all have the potential to do terrible things. It's not just some people do terrible things. You know, what is that they say? In this hammam, in this bathhouse, we are all naked. We are all vicious, terrible people that can do those things. We have that potential within us. What did Muhammad say about devil? Something similar Jesus said too. I don't remember exactly what Jesus said. Maybe Rachel can tell us. Muhammad said about devil, that devil is closer to you than your juggler. The terribleness is closer to you than your juggler. It's that close.
What's
The
juggler?
devil,
What's juggler?
this main vein that transfers blood
In your neck?
in your neck, is blood from to your brain, from your heart. It's closer. It's the devil is within you. So how do we conquer that? Not get hurt, not get optimistic, not get cynic, not develop even resentment about people constantly, but to keep seeing the possibility. Keep seeing the possibility. Very good. Good work, Bakar. This is the power course in action. You're getting pretty sharp. Very good. Very good. Rachel, comments?
I think as we were younger, and if our environment had provided us those all positive, you can do it, everything is okay, all grasses are green, we are gonna have that romantic reality until something hit us and say, what happened? And then we flip back to the other side. And then once we're hurt and someone took advantage of us, then we go back and forth. And the truth is, like you said earlier, as a human, we are out to hurt and to be hurt. And I think what we experience in life, we need to recognize the humanity right now in our society. It's exactly what we're dealing with. So with the politics, with the religion, one side is right, the other one is holy, the other one is evil. This one and all that. So I own my own life situation. If I get an example of specific as relationship, marriage, I have given it all. What the church told me, what other told me, I give it all. It didn't work. And then my response was like, this thing that doesn't exist, it's false and all that. No, it doesn't change the meaning of marriage or still the outcome of it. My experience or my expectation or my engagement wasn't right, or there was that. But now trying to trust again, to give that a second chance is where I need to come to reality, where to know who I am, to learn from my experience for the pain that I caused or I had, and just to have that romanticness in my heart to give it a chance, to take a risk. And that could turn out to be good or terrible again. But again, that's part of life.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for sharing. So it's a good thing that we are not young and everything is not laid out for us, huh? What a disaster it would be if we were young and everything was well laid out for us.
Yeah, it can also happen when we're older. Sometimes we make those decisions.
And you have 4 young people in this call, and they can tell you that things are not laid out for them. They're having to work their damnest hard, and probably much harder than what we worked at their age. The time has become such that the world is becoming super competitive, and the young people of today are having to work much harder than they did in the past. Yeah. Okay, all right. Ready for exercise number 2? Ready for exercise number 2. Very good. The exercise number 2 is, the first one, the first exercise comes from our power of moods. Now we're going to go to the power of listening. Here, what we want to provoke is, I think Rachel has done this exercise actually among all of you. Rachel is the only one who has done this exercise before. So we have 2 questions for you. 2 questions. Question number 1, what is it that you don't want to listen to? What is it that you don't want to listen to? Number 1. Number 2, how do you listen to what you don't want to listen to? What is it that you don't want to listen to? And how do you listen to?
I'll post the questions in the chat.
Oh, Haris had actually sent me a message. I don't have my glasses, so okay. What is it that you don't want to listen?
I didn't do this exercise, Sakib.
Huh?
I didn't do this exercise.
We did it in the Power Sisters. You
Maybe I
you
wasn't
forgot?
there.
No, oh really?
No, she was there. Rahel, you were my
Was I?
partner. You were my
Oh.
partner.
Oh, yes, it's not. See, I have to be here again.
What is it that you don't want to listen to?
Yeah.
And how do you listen to what you don't want to listen to? Ready?
It's a very difficult question.
Well, start with the first one, okay? Don't go step by step. First, what is it that you don't want to listen to? Start there. I don't want to listen to this. What is the first thing comes up? I don't want to listen to this. And then go at the question, how do you listen to that you don't want to listen to? Okay, who's ready? Raise your hand, please. Or just start speaking.
I don't want to listen to something that I have to do that is against my ideology and principles, but I have to do it because someone asked me to do it who is higher than the rank or designation. So I have to do it.
Very good. So I don't know if you all heard well. You don't want to listen to something that is against your ideology, particularly if it comes from people in authority position.
Well, not necessarily. It can be my parents as well.
Authority position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how do you listen to what you don't want to listen to?
I'll come back later on this answer.
Okay.
Generally, I don't listen, so I have to think.
So you listen to with a mood of resentment and rejection.
Well, if it is my boss or if it is a professional experience, then I have to listen, and I'm not happy.
And how do you listen?
With the mood of frustration. I mean, first I try to convince them, but if they don't agree, I have to do it because they are the boss.
Very good.
60% of times I'm able to, I mean, if I do the statistics from last 2 years, 60% of the times I'm able to convince them.
I think Rachel over there has asked her partner to stop the car, pull aside. This is getting serious. Stop the car, pull aside, get my gun. This is getting very serious. Okay, very good. Thank you, Usman. Sit with this for a little bit. Sit with this for a little bit. Take a look. Keep taking a look at these two questions. Okay, and I'll come back to you in a moment. Who else wants to share?
I want to share.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to listen when my parents like give me some life advice, like now you are getting younger and you will be married in 2 to 3 years. And other things like when my parents talks about some other person and comparing me to another people. These things I don't want to listen.
Uh-huh. And how do you listen to what you don't want to listen to?
Yeah, I don't listen, but I hear those things.
So how do you listen? Reflect on that a little bit. How do you listen to what you don't want to listen to?
Great question. Let him thinking. And let me think.
Yash, if I've heard correctly, you said that your parents ask you to get married and you don't want to listen to this thing?
No, not married. I mean, like they sometimes talk about like after 2 or 3 years you will be married, so you must be doing all these things and
Okay. Responsibilities, you mean? Okay.
yeah, responsibilities.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about the second questions. Complex.
Well, is it? Take a look. Just take a look at your way of being. Suppose I am one of your parents right now. I'm acting out as your acting as your father, who says, Yash, you must get a job at a big company. You see, Sudhir, such a good kid. He has job at Tata Consulting. What are you doing, Yash? You're not making good use of your life. We want to marry you in 3 years. We want to see little Yashis running around. Little Yashis and Yashritas running around. So why aren't you doing what we're telling you? So how do you listen to stuff like that? With what mood? With what orientation?
With the mood of negligence or with the mood.
With a mood like this, say it again. Calm. What? Listening. Okay, good. All right. Okay, thank you. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay, please.
Thankfully, it's not the same thing that I said previously. I guess I have. I think for me, what I don't want to listen, I have resignation, is one-sided opinion. This is the only way. This is the one way. I have resignation. Is like, oh, I even have judgment toward that person and trying to put a background of this person and all that, trying to label. So that is my biggest thing that I like, oh, do I have to listen to this? But what makes me to listen to that person? A curiosity, where is this person coming from? I wonder where they came to this conclusion, and helps me to listen. And normally, if I do give myself a chance, it actually create a relationship or sometimes compassion. Why they think that way is where they're coming from.
So you listen to you haven't said it, and I think you should. You don't want to listen to arrogant opinions.
Okay, that's the word. Yeah, pretty much. When you're one-sided, you're being arrogant. Everybody else wrong. You're right.
Notice the difficulty you're having saying arrogant.
It didn't come to my mind.
Huh? No. Even look, but just take a look at that. There's like a commitment to being nice.
Yeah.
Right? You're just calling it one-sided opinion, but we don't know what is one-sided. You really are talking about, you don't want to listen to arrogant opinions.
Okay, you're right. I don't like to listen to arrogant opinions.
Mm-hmm. And yet you listen to arrogant opinions with curiosity?
Yes, I do. To know the
Mm.
background, where they're coming from.
Mm. Very
Because I
good.
can make always assumption where they're coming from. And I like to understand, but
Mm-hmm.
there are chances I do and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
This is reminding me our conversation a few weeks ago.
What was that? Share with us. Bring the
About the
memory back, please.
vaccination, about your outlook. I think you either call them arrogant or stupid, whatever. Those people who doesn't get back, those kind of. So for me, it's just like, well, maybe they have a reason. So that's just what reminds me.
Well, no, not maybe. Obviously, they have a reason. And I don't know if I call them arrogant. If I did, then that was arrogant of
No,
me.
I don't think, but it was something else.
Hmm.
And I was having a hard time to agree with that. But at the end, I see you.
Right. Right. No, I can see that. I also thought of the same event, same incident, that you do listen very well. And in that sense, that you listen to it with curiosity. And if I thought that people that don't want to take vaccinations are arrogant, then it was a bit arrogant of me to assume that. The phenomena we are dealing with regarding the vaccinations issue is the phenomenon of mistrust in institutions. And it's become more obvious to me. Recently, I've been doing some further philosophical work for the Power course, and it's become more obvious to me that we are dealing with, there are well-meaning people, and we're dealing with great deal of mistrust. There is actually a statistics I shared with the participants of the Power course. According to a survey done by Harvard, 15-year survey by an institution at Harvard called the Ash Center, that looks at people's trust in their government. They just published their findings, and they're reporting that only 37% of the Americans trust their federal government. Staggering 63% do not trust their federal government. As opposed to that, 94%, I think 94, 95% of the Chinese trust their federal government, and only 5% do not trust their federal government. What does that do to the institutional power of these governments? Institutional power is always about moving people towards action that institution determines. In a sense, in the United States, institution is not at all able to move people towards a common cause. What if tomorrow there is a massive war or something that is upon us? What would be the institutional's effectiveness in moving people towards a common goal? That's what I'm more worried about. That's what I'm more concerned about. And in general, mistrust of institutions, people are not paying attention to what those institutions are saying. They don't want to listen to institutions, and the way that they listen to is with a mood of like, I don't want to listen to. So yeah, that was the event of my own arrogance, and I did recognize that later on in some other conversations. Okay, all right, thank you, Rachel. Who wants to go next, Victoria or Bakar?
Next.
Okay.
I'll go next. This is something that has been with me for a while, but I don't want to like declare it because it's changing, okay? But for a long time, what I have not been open to listening to and what I hated when people brought up for me is my resignation about love. And I realize now that I listened to it with a mood of mistrust.
That's a good insight. Bravo. Bravo, bravo. Good work. Well done. Okay. Wakar.
Yes, the first thing that came up in my mind was that I don't want to listen to my own thoughts. Like,
No, you're
I don't know.
no, that there is no listening. That's just cooking the soup in the brain. This skull,
Yes,
in the part of a skull cooking soup. So let's not get trapped with that. Look at outsiders, look at community, look at your brothers, your sisters, your relatives, your cousins, your mom, maybe your dad that is still speaking to you. So what is it that you don't want to listen to? And that is not your own thoughts, because then we're in a weird loop. We don't want to go in a weird loop.
No, actually, I was a few days ago, I was like sitting in a silence. I was thinking that the most disturbing thing in my life is my own thoughts. The way I talk to myself is disturbing me, and how could I just
I see.
avoid it? And so,
I see. Okay, I got you. Good work. I got it. Good insight. You're noticing that you're having self-defeating conversations with yourself.
yes.
And you don't want to listen to those conversations, self-defeating conversations. And how do you listen to what you don't want to listen to? How are you listening to this?
I ponder over them, and I sometimes take them as a fact. And because of it, I am just trapped in a circle. Like, same things keep happening in my life again and again because of my way of thinking, my perspective about the things, and my talking to myself in that way. I want to either stop their thoughts or either adopt a way of thinking that will shift whole of the process.
Okay, now take a note of this
And
please.
and the other thing that I don't want to listen is that I really don't care about what people talk. So
what kind of thing is it that people talk that you don't care about? Now you're beginning to get real with
like
us.
yes, everything, like if someone is telling me to have a job, I was yesterday thinking about it, like people are pushing me to do a degree or do a job. I was thinking, why the hell they are trying to push me in the thing that they are already trapped in?
Okay.
Are they trying to trap me in the same circle they are struggling in for whole of their lives, and they want me to struggle in that thing also? So these kind of things, I don't really now care about what they are trying to do, because they are already trapped in it, and all they want is actually they don't know anything about it. Our society has drew a line that your kid have to go to school, then he has to do a degree, then he has to do a job, then he has to marry, and then this life goes on like this, and everyone around me expect me to do the same, and still they are trying to impose on me that this is the right way, you have to do this, and this is happening to me, and I am like, okay, you are right, and I don't care.
So how do you listen to that you don't want to listen to?
To people, I really listen with negligence, and to myself, I listen that
with
you are
resentment.
Right.
So you don't want to listen to people giving you life advices. And if somebody gives you life advice, you listen to it with resentment.
Yes.
Now you can believe how lucky I feel. Or maybe you do listen to me with resentment. I give you life advices all the time. I hope that
No.
I hope some of that is going through.
No,
Okay.
actually, I have given you the permission. So
Well, look at that. Man, too much vitamins. Too much power. No, there is no such thing as too much power. Good work. Good job. All right. Very good. All of you, really well done. Whatever your answer is, whatever you're realizing, it's really wonderful. Look, Usman, your response was like right closer to the right on the wire, closest to the wire in the bits and bytes world. You were right on the right closest to the wire, that oftentimes we build within ourselves some kind of, we hear some kind of assessment from someone. We like it. It makes sense to us in the moment. Maybe somebody made an assessment to you about, give me one of your ideologies. Give me just any ideology, political, personal, financial, relationship related. Give me an example of one ideology that you have.
Well, I don't like someone to interfere in my finances.
No, what's your ideology? First tell me an ideology that you have about finances or about something, but what's your ideology that you say, that's my ideology and I don't want to listen something against that ideology? Maybe your ideology is finances are your personal matter. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, got it. Finances are your personal matter, right? You make up, you have this ideology. Maybe you heard from someone from somewhere, parent or something, cousin, friend, teacher who may have been struggling with something or not struggling, or maybe have done well, or maybe had a strategy of making money in life and they made it and they try to present it to you as a truth, but it was just an opinion. So all of the truths that we know are the opinions of society that we have gotten. And in that sense, we have been imprisoned by society. We have taken these opinions as truths. Now, as a smart engineer, when you start looking at it like finances, people, well, finances are a social phenomena. Finances are not a personal phenomena. It's a social phenomena. There are people that spend lifetime gaining expertise in that. There might be people that might have perception about opportunity that you don't have. Those are obvious assessments. There too are assessments. I'm making a bunch of assessments here. They're not truths. But what happens is that we get some kind of an opinion and we make it a personal truth. Now, everything that enters into our world, we compare with the truths that we already know. And if it matches with that truth that we already know, like Yash knows the truth. Yash has a truth of how I will be successful is by having my own startup or by doing whatever, by doing something on my own or by blah, 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 right? That's a truth for Yash. So when a new information, new conversation enters your life, your awareness, and it doesn't match with what you already know, we discard it. We resist it. We resent it. We fight truths. We don't realize that what we know is also an opinion. Human being, at the end of the day, if you start taking a self, and I won't do this exercise right now, we are coming close to the time, but we can do it another time. We can take the self layer by layer by layer by layer and keep peeling it. And you may realize that right at the center of it, there is nothing but an opinion. I'm a man, I'm a Pakistani, I am Muslim, I'm Christian, I am teacher, I am engineer, I love liberals, I love Democrats, I love Republicans, I like to take vaccines, I don't like to take vaccines, I love young people, I hate kids or whatever. All of it is good to be rich. It's not good to be rich. I should be rich. I shouldn't be rich. Whatever it is, there are a bunch of opinions, and human being at the end of the day is an opinion. Human being, I'm talking about the very construction of human being. We, at the root of it, we live as opinions, but we don't have access to that. Enlightenment comes from being able to tell the difference between opinions and facts. What are facts? Facts are some opinions. Facts are also kind of opinions, actually. But facts are those about which we have invested in a shared infrastructure. And the shared infrastructure then informs us whether something is a fact or not. For example, it is 11:46 a.m. Pacific time, 11:46 p.m. Pakistan time, and so on and so forth, and maybe 16 a.m. India time. That's a fact. Why is that a fact? Because we have a shared infrastructure called clocks. That shared infrastructure allows us to navigate with each other. That's really what the facts are for. Bunch of things. I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat. I don't like to listen about finances. I like listening about finances. I don't want my parents to give me advice about life. I want my parents to give me advice about life. I'm lonely. People will always betray me. People will give me random advices. I love people's advices. All of those, they're not facts, but we take them as facts. What you call your ideals, which you have made them facts, they're just your opinions, but we don't think of them as opinions. So we reject something new comes. The tragedy is that when we act like this, we don't learn anything new. We only learn what we already know. And actually, if something enters our world that matches with what we already know, maybe we learn a little bit more, but most of the time we reject that too. If you hear something that you already know, quickly we say, yeah, I know that. I know that. When we do that, we reject it. We don't want to hear it. This is how we listen to. And if we listen to something that we don't already know, we reject it because we don't know. Our default mood is like this as human beings, that we resist learning. No wonder that learning is painful. We have to go to school kicking and screaming. We have to go to the school of life kicking and screaming. And our power becomes limited and flat. The only time your power can grow when you build a mood, bit like what Rachel has, that I don't like listening to arrogant people. But when arrogant people speak, I get curious that what are they saying? Maybe I'll see something new. We need to build a mood like that. Congratulations, Rachel, for having built a mood like that. I can learn from you about a mood like that.
I learned it the hard way.
But here is the thing though. We are all arrogant. At the end of the day, we all know our truths. But the moment you realize you are arrogant, that's it. You are not arrogant. How weird is that? The moment you realize I'm an arrogant guy, you're not an arrogant person. Unless you say I'm an arrogant guy, what are you going to do about it? Then you're arrogant and stuck. Then you are the next level of arrogant, which is asshole. So, fine.
Just a thing. I'm just giving you a scenario that if someone has a particular understanding about some topic and thinking about other person by interacting with him, that he doesn't has as much knowledge as you have for a particular, let's say finance, for example. So thinking about this thing that this guy has less knowledge than you, is it still arrogance, or is it still being aware of the fact that we should not listen to this person, we should not rely on it? So
very good.
So how will you differentiate in this?
It's very good. It's a great question. You're a sharp mind, so you went right to the heart of the matter. This is the concept that is considered that Pule Sarat, the one to the heaven, it's sharper than sword and narrower than hair, that you can't fall this way and can't fall this way. You have to make assessments. You have to make an assessment. For example, I start saying to you right now that, listen, the 5G waves, they don't go like this. They go like this in the air. You can say, okay, I see. What evidence do you have about that, right? First, either you can get angry and say, get lost. I don't, or you can say, interesting, you say that. What evidence you have about that? I don't have any evidence. I feel it. Okay, thank you for sharing your feelings. Of course, you have to reject it. Of course, you have to make the assessment that this fool is lost in the fog. I have to make that assessment all the time, that this fool is lost in the fog. But if I get perturbed that you're challenging my truth, you are invalidating me. I am the PhD. I am this and I am that. And you are, that way of being doesn't lead you. Maybe I am the next Tesla and I am telling you something that's going to change everything, right? But till you listen to it with certain curiosity, like Rachel does, and then make an assessment. No, I think I know better. That's good. You are to make that assessment. We are talking about the auto rejection that happened, the upset that creates right away, the perturbance. You have a bad mood. They have a bad mood. They're saying, no, listen to this. No, you're a fool. No, you're a fool. Then we have lost the game. What is that? They say, the human is like a steel. If you lose temper, you're worth nothing. It's like this. We don't want to lose temper. We don't want to lose our mind. Even when you're full of rage, you may have seen some indignity, and you're full of rage about it. It's good to keep your mind and keep looking at what's going on, even about the things you know better. But you're asking a very good question. There are two times, the Hubert-Dreyfus levels of learning. We talked about this before. The Hubert-Dreyfus levels of learning. Hubert-Dreyfus is the professor at Berkeley, also the teacher of one of the teachers of Fernando Flores, and one of the fathers of AI world. Created these levels of learning. He talks about, first, you're a new beginner when you're learning something new, advanced beginner, proficient, expert, virtuoso, and then a master when you're inventing new moves, right? I won't go into the details now. So there are two levels when the arrogance is at its highest. The one right before the new beginner, when you are a bull in a china shop, when you don't know about the domain, you're making bunch of messes and you're really stuck and your life is miserable. That's where the arrogance is at its highest. And when is the next level when the arrogance is at its highest? Is when you're a master, because there's no one above you. You got it. That's when the challenge of arrogance comes up. Master knows, but it's master's arrogance that gets him or her or them trapped in what they know. And that's where you have to constantly challenge your own arrogance in the area that you know really well. It is when you do that, now you're an innovator. Now you have the possibility of inventing something after having achieved mastery that goes beyond mastery, that goes into invention, innovation, and fulgore, where something new comes. You say, I wonder what the hell is that? Every technological innovation, every social innovation that has been made by masters, that was done by the master coming to a point going like, I wonder what the heck is going on here. All the previous knowledge that I know may not be enough to explain the anomaly that is happening in front of me. So good question. And don't take what I have responded as a final answer. You go investigate that. You go investigate that and come back and tell me, Saqib, your question, I thought about it and I think you were blind about that. And I commit that though I have a certain kind of confidence in my coaching and philosophical ability, I will listen to whatever you have to say about what you will learn. Okay. All right. Now we have 5 minutes left and I'm not sure. Do we want to do the next exercise?
I think we have enough time for the request exercise.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because we're
All
not
right.
making it right here, right? We're doing it after.
Okay.
So.
Very good then. All right. We have the third exercise from you for you from the domain of action and from the power of language in the power course. This exercise is about practicing making bold requests. You see, normally we are accustomed to making requests that we presume people will say yes to. We make requests we feel comfortable making, and our existence stays limited, our power stays limited when we make obvious kind of requests that people obviously are gonna accept. When we make bold requests that have the possibility of not being accepted, of being rejected, we are taking risk. We are at the edge. When we request, when we make a bold request, we are in action of shifting some world. Remember, it's only a request. If you say, would you do this for me? If you want to do something for someone, you offer, that's not a request. Good to make a distinction. What's a request? What's an offer? Offer is when you want to do something for someone, when you are the performer. Request is when you want something, when you want someone to do something for you. Would you bring me a glass of water is a request. Can I bring you a glass of water? That's an offer. Okay, so today we are dealing with requests, the phenomena of requests. Many of the older cultures in the world have resentment towards requests. Italians say, only Nazis make requests. Good people make offers. Nazis make requests. So we have built some resentment about making requests. Okay, so what we want to do here is to help you open up your sensibility and open up courage about making requests. So when you make a request, you're a customer and the other person is a performer that you're asking performer to do something for you. You put together a condition that you want be satisfied. You might say to your parent or wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, hey, I am hungry. Sometimes there is many ways of making requests. There are implicit requests. You might say to your partner, I feel hungry. That is a request, like bring me food, bring me food. But we are gonna practice making explicit requests. Hi, I am hungry. Would you buy me some food? I am hungry is a background. Would you buy me some food is the request. Okay, so now the questions are the following. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Rachel, are you with us? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm listening. I am.
You're listening. Very good. So the question is this. The question is this. Where in your life and to whom you have been thinking about making a request, but have not had the courage to do so? Where in your life and to whom you have been thinking about making a request, but have not had the courage to do so? Question number one. Question number two. What request will lead you to have a better experience of life on your behalf or others' behalf? Your request could have to do with bringing comfort or some satisfaction to somebody else. Your request may have to do with bringing some comfort, some satisfaction to you. And then the third question is, what is the request and to whom you're making? So write that down. Go ahead and you're not going to share that. This is private exercise. So go ahead and write that down. Or if you're driving or don't have notebook, then just think about it clearly.
It's 12 o'clock.
Can we go,
Can you
guys?
can you
can we go?
explain the second one?
I will. Let me first do a time check. We are right on time. Can we go 5 or 7 minutes over?
Yes, just
You're all
repeat
okay
the
with that?
question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So essentially, like, it has to be a request that is of consequence to you, Rachel. Something that will satisfy something that you are want to be satisfied with, something that will satisfy someone else. You might make a request to your neighbor to say, hey, listen, you play loud music every night. My mother is sick. My wife is sick. Would you please not play music? You're making request. So you want to bring satisfaction to someone else, or you're making a request. You are in a relationship or we have several people here without relationships, so I'm going to be careful. But if you're in a relationship and you've been thinking about, I want to do this, and you don't want to make a request to your partner, you may be holding back on something. So that request could be your satisfaction, could be someone else's satisfaction. That is of consequence to you. That's clear, Rachel?
Got it.
Not okay.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
go ahead
Thank you.
and take a minute and write down this request. And as you're writing down, I'll say a little bit more. With requests, we move the world. This request has to be something that will delight your heart. Any requests whatsoever. Somebody may be snoring in your house and you want to go, you want them to go get checked out by the doctor because you can't sleep at night and it's perturbing you. So you might make a request, say, hey, would you do something for me? Would you make an appointment with the doctor? You can also make an offer too. Can I make an appointment with the doctor for you? That's an offer. That's different. In this exercise, you're making a request. You want them to do something. Or maybe you want to ask someone out on a date. For those that are singles in this group here, the 3 that are here, maybe you have a boy in mind. Maybe you have a girl in mind. Maybe you don't have a boy or girl in mind, but you think you really should ask someone out. So what request you want to make of others? The point is to having a courage to make the request. Now, you all got the requests?
Yes.
Okay, you got the request. Okay, we'll wait for a minute more for Yash and Bakar to be finished. Okay, good. Now, the next exercise is that you go ahead and make that request. Right after this program, you're going to go make that request. And whenever you're going to see me next time in whatever program, whatever conversation, private or public, I'm going to ask you, and you're going to report to me what happened when you make that request. Fine if it's declined, no taking it personal. Okay, no problem. Make an unreasonable request. Notice that most of the time we are trapped with this world of reasons. But requests that change the world are the ones that are unreasonable. Remember that old saying, after the final no, there comes a yes, upon which future of the world depends. So go make an unreasonable request. And I prefer it, as unreasonable it is, the better it is. And then if you get good at it, then make another one, and make another one, and make another one. If you want power, let me give you a secret to power right here. If you want unbelievable power in your life, then make at least one unreasonable request every day. Go to your relative. Hey, I want to start a business. Give me money. Hey, sell my product. Hey, can I come live in your house? Hey, can you call that guy for me? Hey, can you buy me something? Hey, can you go out with me? Hey, can you leave me alone? Hey, can you divorce me? Hey, whatever is going on. Hey, I have a request. What is the request? Can you please get the Frank out of my life? I would delight me. No, sorry, I won't. Okay, just requesting, So any request at all. Somebody might come to me and say, hey, let me run this habit building program for you and do a revenue partnership. I might say no, sorry, but make an unreasonable request. You are a staff member at Rasul Ventures, you are a client, you are a friend, doesn't matter.
Don't dissolve the tub power. That is my request. An unreasonable request, you said.
Okay, I got your request. I really heard you. I really got the request. And I have a counter offer. I have a counter offer to your request. I got it. and you know what? I accept your request. I won't. Accepted. May we take 3 months break and come back in January when we have the new tribe going? So we have a bit of a extensive network, right? The participation today shows us that that I think that we're headed in the right direction. That's
Yeah.
accepted?
Yeah. I mean, it was an unreasonable request, but it was a request, so it's fine.
No, it changed the word. It already changed the word. And you don't know that what request you made, how many other words it's going to change. So thank you for making the request. I accept it, and I only counter with that. Let us restart that once the new Power Course tribe is on. And you are in the Power Course tribe. That's my request to you, that no matter what, get yourself in the next Power Course and do the work how it's meant to be done.
Sure.
Okay.
I also accept the request.
Wow, look at that. 2 worlds are shifted. Maria's world is going to be shifted in the middle of all of this. Okay, very good. So you all got the requests. You're going to make the request. I have your commitment, each one of you, that you're going to be making the requests. Okay, very good. Fine. If I don't have your commitment, even requesting that commitment is a request. It's an unreasonable for me to request you to make that request. And if you want to think about it, that's very good. There are many moves in response to a request. You can accept a request, you can decline a request, you can counter offer something else in response, where you can have a counter to the counter, and you can go in this dance. And we're going in this dance more deeper in the Power Course. Okay, as a closing, I want to read a poem to you. This poem is for those that believe that they have gotten left behind, and they are not that smart, and they're slower than their peers, and they are less than their peers, and they're not quite as sharp and quite as good, and they don't listen quite well, or they don't act quite well. And this poem is for all those. Okay, the poem is called Lame Goat by Rumi. Lame Goat by Rumi. Okay. Lame Goat by Rumi, from Coleman Barks' translation of Rumi. This is the book on page 144. The lame goat. You have seen, You have seen a herd of goats going down to the water. You have seen a herd of goats going down to the water. Might be a better idea if I go find my glasses, but I'm trying to turn the light brighter so I can see clearly. Okay, the lame goat. You have seen a herd of goats going down to the water. The lame and dreamy goat brings up the rear. The lame and dreamy goat brings up the rear. There are worried faces about that one. There are worried faces about that one. But now they are laughing. They worry about the lame goat, but now they're laughing at the lame goat, the one who gets behind. Because look, as they return, that goat is leading. As the goats are going up, as they return, the lame goat that was all the way in the back is now leading. There are worried faces about that one, but now they are laughing because look, as they return, that goat is leading. There are many different kinds of knowing. The lame goat's kind is a branch that traces back to the roots of presence. The lame goat also knows something. The lame goat's kind is a branch that traces back to the roots of presence. Learn from the lame goat and lead the herd home. Lame goat. Okay, that's it, everyone. Thank you. We are 11 minutes over. And with that, I must bid you farewell, and we close for now, temporarily, our club powwow sessions. Before I let you go, let's do a quick mood check-in. What is your mood? Usman? Exit mood.
I feel passionate and ambitious. No
Mood of
confusion
passion
now.
and ambition.
Yeah.
Okay. Victoria?
I have a mood of acceptance and possibility.
Acceptance and possibility. Wakar?
I have a mood of ambition, anticipation, and curiosity.
Okay. Rachel?
New beginners and insightful. Can I say something about why I say this?
Yes.
I know we did the listening skill thing activity. I remember it, but this is more impactful. It brought me back to where the time that I met Sakib. I was in a lot of dilemma where I have been in this coaching trainings and so many roles in my life. I was like, nothing makes sense. I don't want it to listen to, because every the conference I go, I hear what I've been hearing, but I struggle that to change myself to what I really believe on those people preach about. And the first thing that I have happened was meeting with Sakib. He confronted me. There was so much defensiveness in me, and I feel like I was attacked, and it was different than the normal thing that I hear. So that is where my transformation starts. So as far as listening, I think there's a lot of opportunity where we're encountered to be forced to think that we don't listen to. I think that's where we need to listen.
Yeah, very well. Courteously said. Thank you, Rachel. And your exit mood, please.
Beginners listening.
Mood of
Beginners.
beginner. Got it. Thank you. Yash?
Mood of ambition.
Mood of ambition. Very good. For myself, my own mood is of mood of commitment. Usman's request shifted something for me, and I have a mood of commitment. Whether request is accepted or not accepted, it changes the world. Go be bold. Thank you all. Blessings.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.